Ever since computers were invented, they have really just been glorified calculators, machines that execute the exact instruction given to them by the programmers. But something incredible is happening now. Computers have started gaining the ability to learn things and communicate just like we do. They can do creative, intellectual work that previously only humans could do. We call this technology generative AI, and you have encountered it already through product like GPT. I am referring to Chat GPT. Basically, intelligence now available as a service. Think about a kind of a giant brain floating in the sky that anyone can talk to. It's not perfect, but it is surprisingly capable and it's improving at exponential rate. This is a big deal. It's going to affect just about every person and company on the planet, positively or negatively. So, this video is here to help you understand what generative AI is all about in practical terms beyond the hype. The better you understand this technology as a person, team, or company, the better equipped you will be to survive and thrive in age of AI. So here a silly but useful mental model for this to explain you guys. You have an Einstein in your basement or in your home. In fact, everyone does with ChatGPT kind of thing. And by Einstein, I really means the combination of every smart person who ever lived. You can talk to Einstein whenever, wherever you want. He have instant access to some of all human knowledge and will answer anything you want within seconds. Never run out of patience. He can also take on any role you want, a comedian, poet, doctor, coach, and he will be expert in that field. He has some human like limitation, though he can make mistakes, he can jump to conclusions, he can misunderstand you. But the biggest limitation is actually your imagination and ability to communicate effectively with him. This skill is known as prompt engineering. And in the age of AI, this is an essential as reading and writing. Most importantly, vastly underestimate what this Einstein in your basement or in your home can do. It's like going to the real Einstein and asking him very silly high level report things or questions, or hiring a world class five-star chef and having him chopping onions. What I want to say that the prompt engineering is very important. The more you interact with Einstein, the more you will discover surprising and more powerful way for him to help you and your company. Okay, let's move forward. What is AI? Let's clarify some terms. AI, as you probably know, stands for artificial intelligence. AI is not new. Fields like machine learning, computer vision has been around for decades. Whenever you see a YouTube recommendation or a web search result, or whenever you make a credit card transaction approved, that's traditional AI in action. Generative AI is AI that generate new original content rather than just finding and or classifying existing content. That's the G in GPT, which is generative. For example, large language model or LLMs are type of generative AI that can communicate using normal human language. ChatGPT is a product by company OpenAI. It started as a LLM, essentially an advanced chatbot using an architecture called transformer architecture, which is by the way T in the GPT. It's so fluent at human language that anyone can use it. You do not need to get an AI expert or programmer, and that's kind of what triggered the whole revolution. Okay, so how does it actually works? Well, well, a large language model is an artificial intelligence neural network, basically a bunch of numbers or parameters connected to each other, similar to how our human brain is a bunch of neurons or brain cells connected to each other. Neural network only deal with numbers. You send numbers, depend upon how the parameter are set, other numbers come out. But any kind of content such as image, text can be represented as a number. So let's say I write dog R. When I send that to a large language model LLM, that converts to number processed by neural network, and then the resulting numbers are converted back into text. In this case, the word animals. Dogs are animals. So yeah, this is basically guess the next word machine. The interesting part is if we take that output, combine it with input and send it through the model again, I'm talking about LLM model, then it will continue adding new words. That's what going on behind the scene. When you type something in chat GPT, in case for example it generate a whole story, and I can continue this indefinitely by adding more prompts. A large language model may have billion or even trillion of parameters. That's why they call large. Okay, so how all these numbers set? Now we reach to something called training. Well, not enough human or manual programming that could make it possible, or it's impossible, but through training, like babies learns to speak. A baby isn't told how to speak. She or he doesn't get an instructional manual. Instead, she listened to people around her, and when she heard enough, she started seeing the patterns. She speaks a few words at first to the delight of her parents, and then later full sentences. Similarly, a training period, the language model is feed a mind-blowing amount of text to learn, mostly from internet sources. It then plays guess the next word with all this over and over again, and the parameters are automatically tweaked until it start getting really good at predicting the next word. This is called back propagation, which is fancy term. Oh, I guess wrong. I better change something. However, to become truly useful, a model also need to undergo human training. This is called reinforcement learning with human feedback, and it involves thousands of hours of human painstaking testing, evaluating output from the model, and giving feedback. Think about kind of like training a dog with a clicker to reinforce good behavior. That's why a model like GPT won't tell you how to rob a bank. It's know very well how to rob a bank. But through human trainings, it learned that it should not help people commit crimes. When training is done, the model is mostly frozen, other than some fine-tuning that can happen later. That's what P stand in GPT, which means that pre-trained. Although in future we will probably have models that can learn automatically or continuously rather than just during training and fine-tuning. So here we reach models. Of course, GPT isn't the only model out there. In fact, new models are sprouting like mushrooms, you can see on your screen. They vary a lot in terms of speed, capability, and cost. Some can be downloaded and run locally, others are online. Some are free or open source, others are commercial products. Some are easy to use, while others require complicated technical setup. Some are specialized for certain use case, others are more general and can be used for almost anything, and some are baked into product in the form of copilots or chat windows. It's the wild west. Just keep in mind that you generally get what you pay for. So with a free model, you may just get a smart high school student in your basement or in your house answering your questions rather than an Einstein. The difference between, for example, ChatGPT 3.5, which is free, and compared to the latest version of GPT 4.0 is massive. So if you are taking the paid version, you will always get better features as compared to the free version. So this will reach to a space where we talk about different models. Note that there are different type of generative AI models that generate different type of content. Text to text model like GPT-4 take text as an input and generate text as output. The text can be natural language, but it can also be structural information like code, JSON, HTML. I use this a lot to generate code when programming. It save an incredible amount of time, and I also learned a lot from the code it generates. Text to image model will generate images, describe you want what you want, and image get generated for you. You can even pick a style. Image to image model can do things like transforming or combining images. And we have image to text model will describe content of a given image. Speech to text model create volume transcriptions, which is useful for things like meeting notes. Text to audio generates music or sound from a prompt. For example, you can write something and it will create that kind of music or sound. And there are even text to video models that generate videos from a prompt. Sooner or later, will have indefinite or infinite movie series that auto generated the next episode tailored to your taste as you are watching. Kind of scary if you think about it. One trend now is multi-model AI products, meaning that combine different model into one product. So you can work with text, images, audios, and anything without switching tools. The ChatGPT mobile app is a good example of this. Just for fun, I take a photo of the room where I'm sitting and I ask where I can find or hide it. I, I kind of like that. It mentioned that stove, but warned that it could be hot there. When I have things to figure out, such as content of this picture, I like to talk. I like to take a walk using ChatGPT as sound or board. I start saying, always respond with word okay unless I ask you for something. That way, it will just listen, not interrupt. After I finish dumping my thought, I ask for feedback. We have some discussions, and then I ask it to summarize the text afterward. I really recommend trying this. You can go and try this one. Have ChatGPT application in your mobile. It's really useful way to use this tool like ChatGPT. Turns out that Einstein isn't stuck in your basement or in your house after all. You can take him out for a walk. Initially, large language model were just word predictor, statistical machines which limited practical use. But as they become large and well trained over more data, they start gaining ambient capabilities, unexpected capabilities that surprise even the developer of the technology. They could role play, write poetry, write high quality code, discuss company strategy, provide legal and medical advice, coach, teach, basically creative and intellectual things that only human could do previously. It turns out that when a model has seen enough text and images, it starts to see patterns and understand high-level concepts, such like a baby learn to understand the world. Let's take a simple example. I will give ChatGPT 4 this little drawing that involve a string, a pair of scissors, a egg, a pot, and a fire. What will happen if I use the scissors? And then I ask, what will happen if I use the scissor? The model has almost likely not been trained on this exact scenario, yet it has given a good pretty answer which demonstrate a basic understanding of nature of Caesar, egg gravity, gravity and heat. When ChatGPT 4 was released, I started using it as a coding assistant, and I was blown away. When prompted effectively, it was a better programmer than anyone I worked with. Same with article writing, product designing, workshop planning, and just about anything I use it for. The main bottleneck was prompt engineering skill. So I decided to make a career shift and focus entirely on learning and teaching how to make this technology useful. And here I am making this video. Now let's take a step back and look at the implication. So implications of this technology. For 30,000 years or more, we human species has been the most intelligent species on the earth, depending on on the course how you define intelligence. But the thing is our intellectual capabilities aren't really improving that much. Our brain are about same size weight as they been for thousands of years. Computers on other hand have been around for around 80 to 100 years, and now with generative AI they are suddenly capable of speaking human languages fluently and carry out an increasing number of intellectual and creative tasks that previously only human can do. So we are right here at the crossing point, if you see on the diagram, where AI is better at something, human are better at something. But AI capabilities are improving at exponential rate, while ours not. We do not know how long that exponential improvement will continue or if it will level off at some time, but we are definitely entering a new world or new world order. Now, this isn't the first revolution we have experienced. We tempered fire, we learned how to do agriculture, we invented the printing press, steam power, and the telegrams, a lot of things. These were all revolutionary changes, but they took decades, a century to be widespread. In the AI revolution, new technology spreads worldwide almost instantly. Dealing with this rate of change is a huge challenge for both individuals, humans, and the AI mindset. So let's talk about AI mindset. Companies, I have noticed that the people and companies tend to fall into different kind of mindset categories, which you see on the screen. When it comes to AI, one side we have denial, the belief that AI can't do my job, or we do not have time to look into this technology. This is dangerous place to be in. A common saying is AI might not take my job, but people using AI will. And this is true for both individuals and company. On other side of scale, we have panic and despair. The belief that AI is going to take my job no matter what, or AI is going to make my company bankrupt. Neither of this mindset is helpful. So I propose a middle ground, a balanced and positive mindset. AI is going to make me, my team, my company productive. Personally, with this mindset, I feel like I gained superpowers. I can go from idea to result in so much shorter time. I can focus more on what I want to achieve, less on the hard work or lot of things I have to do to achieve that. I can use this technology. I'm learning a lot faster too. It's like having an awesome mentor with me all the times. The mindset, the mindset not only feel good, but it's also equips you for the future. It makes you less likely to lose your job or your company, and more likely to it's, it's likely to lose your job or your company, and more likely you thrive in the age of AI, dissipates all the uncertainties which you're not aware of. Okay, in Is so now it leads to a level: is human role needed? Do humans require now? Uncertainly. So one important question is human role X needed in the age of AI? For example, are doctor needed? Developers, lawyers, CEO, whatever. This question becomes more and more relevant as AI capabilities improve. Well, some jobs will disappear for sure, but for most roles, I think we humans are still needed. Someone with domain knowledge will still needed to decide what to ask AI, how to formulate the prompt, what context need to be provided, how to evaluate the result. AI models aren't perfect. They can absolutely brilliant sometimes, but sometimes they are terrible stupid. They can sometimes hallucinate and provide bogus information in very convincing way. So when should you trust AI response? When should you double check or do the work yourself? What about legal compliance and data security? What information can be sent to an AI model and what where that data is stored? A human expert is needed to make that the judgmental calls and compensate for the weakness of the AI model. So I recommended thinking of AI as your colleague, a genius, but all an oddball with some personal drawbacks that you need to learn to work with. You need to recognize when your genius colleague is drunk and you have to make right decisions. As a doctor, my AI colleague can help diagnose rare diseases that I didn't even know exist. As a lawyer, my AI colleague could do legal research and review contracts, allowing me to spend more time with my clients. Or as a teacher, my AI colleague could grade test, help generating course content, and provide individual supports to a student. And if you're not sure how it can help you, just ask it. I work X, how can you help me? Overall, I find that combination of human plus AI is where the magic lies. It's important. So now so now let's talk about model versus products. Distinguish between the model and products that build on top of them. As a user, you do not normally interact with the model directly. Instead, you interact with product, website, or mobile app, which in turn talks to the model behind the scenes. Products provide a useful user interface, and add capabilities and data that aren't part of model itself. For example, ChatGPT product keep track of message histories, while GPT-4 model itself doesn't have a message history. As a developer, you can use these models to build your own AI products and feature. For example, let's say you have a e-learning site, you could add a chatbot to answer questions about the course, or a recruitment company, you might build AI powered tool to help evaluate candidates. In both cases, your users interact with your product and then your product interact with model. This is done by APIs, or which is and stand for application programming interface, which allow your code to talk to the model. So here's a simple example of OpenAI. Okay, so let's talk about the prompt engineering. So here an example. Let's say I want help planning a workshop. This prompt is unlikely to give useful result because no matter how smart AI is, if it does not know the context of my workshop, it can only give me a high level recommendations which is not relevant to me. The second prompt is better. Now I provided some context. This is normally done in a way. Write a prompt, look at the result, add a follow-up prompt to provide more information, or edit the original prompt and repeat until you get a good result. In the third approach, I ask it to interview me. So instead of me providing a bunch of context upfront, I'm basically asking, what do you need to know if in order to help me? Then it will propose a workshop agenda after. I often combine these two. I provide a bit of context and then I tell it to ask me if needs any more information. These are just some example of prompt engineering techniques. Overall, the better you get at prompt engineering, the faster and better results you will get from AI. There are plenty of courses, books, video, articles to help you to learn this, but the most important thing is to practice, learn by doing. A nice side effect is that you will become better at communication in general, since prompt engineering is really all about clarity and effective communication. I think the next frontier for generative AI is autonomous agents with tools. These are the AI powered software entities that run on their own rather than just sitting around waiting for you to prompt them all the time. So you can go down to Einstein in your basement and do what a good leader could do for a team. You give him a high level mission and the tools needed to accomplish it, and then open the door and let him do let him out to run his own show without micromanagement. The tools could be things like access to internet, access to money, ability to send and receive messages, order pizza, whatever. It's up to you. Or this prompt engineering become more important because your autonomous tool agents can do a lot of good or a lot of harm depending upon how well you craft that mission statement. So, prompt engineering is all about crafting the right questions or instructions you get useful response from AI models. Think of it as learning how to communicate effectively with AI to make the most out of its capabilities. Here are some basic examples. Be clear and specific, provide context, reiterate and refine, ask for clarification, role play. All right. So, let's wrap it up. Here's are the key things I hope you will remember from this video. Generative AI is a super useful tool that can help you both you, your team, your company in a big way. The better you understand it, the more likely it is be a opportunity rather than a threat. Generative AI is more powerful than you think. The biggest limitation is not the technology, but your imagination. Like, what can I do? And your prompt engineering skills. How do I do it? Prompt engineering design is a crucial skill. Like all new skills, just accept that you will kind of suck at it at first, but you will improve over time with deliberate practice. So, my best tip is to experiment, do learning, make this part of your day to day life, and learning happens automatically.